Welcome back to Luigi's Mansion 3. Very interesting door you have here, King Boo. Also, those keys are as big as he is. Where was he keeping them?
In the up your butt dimension.
Up my ass.
He is wearing a backpack.
Well, no, that's a vacuum cleaner. There's no space in there. Well, I guess,
Yeah,
it does.
Luigi is taking up all the space.
Maybe Guigi kept it in his butt dimension, and then Luigi takes it out of Guigi.
I never took King Boo as someone who would rock tongue piercings.
Maybe it's like... Have you ever done the thing with Skittles when you were a kid where you ate a bunch of them and then, like, had them on your tongue and went like, ah?
You shit rainbows? No, I can't say.
Okay.
Then again, I haven't had Skittles in God knows how long.
They're good every once in a while.
Too sweet.
Why else are you eating candy?
No, there's a difference between having candy, but there's also something being just too fucking sweet. Like I just
Like
God,
you, John?
Say what?
I said you're too sweet. It was supposed
Oh,
to be
thank
a
you.
compliment.
I understand that first.
Okay.
Oh no, see, she's actually ugly.
I'm gonna point out that I'm not a fan of that trope, personally. The, she's ugly and therefore she's evil is a little kinda eh. I remember
I mean, the reverse is also bad, where it's like, oh hi, I'm dorky, unpopular girl, but as soon as I let my hair down and take off my glasses, I'm a 10 out of 10 supermodel.
well, here's the thing. I feel like a lot of media does that, but doesn't do it good. Like, oh, I am so ugly and unattractive, no one would ever like me. This is a YA thing.
Even though without the makeup and all that shit, you're still like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, that's a YA thing I've noticed, where it's just like, oh, I need to relate to my audience, so I'm dorky and no boys will like me, even though whenever they like have the picture on the front cover or the movie or whatever, the girl is very clearly attractive. It's just it bothers me because there's a lot of instances in like fantasy where the man was ugly or turned into a beast or whatever, but he's secretly like actually a good person and or like a prince or whatever, like Beauty and the Beast. But they never do that for women, because it's always like if a woman was turned into a monster, it was because she was bad and deserved it. Whereas if a man was turned into a monster or is ugly, it's because he's misunderstood or whatever. So it's like...
Well, then I wouldn't use Beauty and the Beast for an example in that case.
I mean, Princess and the
'cause-
Frog has her turning into a frog.
Yeah, and Beast was a beast because he was an asshole.
Yeah, but I guess the difference is that but he gets to redeem himself, whereas if you look at something like Medusa, it's like, oh, she was ugly and the gods were jealous of her, so they made her into a monster, and now she like hurts people by turning them into stone, and she doesn't get to like learn a lesson and go back to normal. Does that make sense?
I see
mean,
what you're getting at.
I mean,
think
the Greek. I wouldn't use Greeks as a good example either, because there's a reason why it's called the Greek tragedy and the Greek comedy.
Yeah, that's true.
And a lot of the stories are just the gods being dicks, and the normal people just can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to like actually try to make a point about it, I would like do research and crap. But we're just dicking around on BSC, so I get to just spout stuff out of my mouth, and I don't have to think about it because it doesn't matter.
as long as I sound confident enough, it's true.
Okay, listen.
Welcome to academia, John.
Those are my least favorite kind of professors, for the record, are the ones who are like, oh, every reading is correct, except for the ones that disagree with my readings. Then you get a C.
Yeah.
I remember I had a friend in high school, and her like final paper in senior year was talking about Shakespeare, and like it had a different interpretation of the reading than the teacher did, and she literally, just because it was a different interpretation. She cited her work perfectly and whatnot, and she still got a worse grade because the teacher just didn't agree with it. And that kind of teacher is why people make fun of English class.
Yeah, because that should be completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, that's the whole point of the class, is to teach that there can be different interpretations of things. Like, that's why that class is there. If you want something to only have one answer, that's what math class is for.
Unless, I mean, you can argue certain things based on what you read into it, but if, say,
Oh,
an author makes, like, specifically gets asked a question about this, and he says, and he or she says, no, this is exactly what it means, then you kind of have to go with that, but...
okay, so this is complicated because there's a lot of different takes on how right the author can be about their own work. I mean, granted, there are arguments that are just wrong. For example, like if you wanted to argue, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of something ludicrous, like Lord of the Rings is actually about aliens or whatever. Like that's just wrong, you know, and you're being stupid. But at the same time, there are legitimate readings that aren't what the author necessarily intended to put in there. So, I don't know. Again, it's complicated more now than ever because there's a lot of talk about, like, death of the author and stuff.
Yeah, it's a fucking full-out discussion, what you're trying to...
Yeah, so that's a
get
rabbit
into.
hole I don't feel like going down right now.
I just feel there's a difference if the author explicitly says, this is what this one thing means. Try to go with that.
Yeah, but what about
versus where an author may not say something about it.
But what is it when the author says that the wizards would shit their pants, though?
Can we... Okay, fine. JK is a whole different can of worms.
Yeah.
The author can tell you the meaning of the lines, but that doesn't mean you still can't read between the lines.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way I look at it. Because I'm not of the mindset where the author's statement about what they mean is not absolute, because at the end of the day, that they're the person that wrote it, J.K. Rowling's notwithstanding.
To get back...
And,
oh, you finish.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, you just finish because I don't want to cut you off before you actually make your point.
I've already lost my train of thought.
Okay, sorry about that. This scene is actually fairly charming, though, with Mario and Luigi going up the stairs. Especially since Mario actually still acts like he was in a Mario game and is, like, jumping around and crap. And Luigi's just putting around with his vacuum cleaner, like... Dude. Like, because right here, like, you see... Wow, Mario, you're a dick. Like, look at how fast he goes up there, and he's, like, he'll hop around and whatnot. I find the interaction between Mario and Luigi and Luigi's Mansion and stuff...
Come on, Luigi, it's time to jump up without a care. I can't. This thing's heavy.
Take it off, then.
It's how I got through this entire hotel, Mario. I'm not ditching it now.
I think it would be fun to have Mario be, like, in a Luigi's Mansion 4. You know, if they make that 6 years from now.
It'd be fun if he was the co-op character.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have to be the star. You know, I feel like that's maybe what they worry about, is that Mario will overshoot Luigi if you make him a playable character or whatever. But I remember when this game was being announced, one of the theories was that you would actually be able to play as different characters, because I remember one of the first screenshots they show you is Mario, Peach, Luigi, and Toad's pictures hanging above the front lobby. And so one of the pet theories was, oh, does that mean those characters are playable? And I think that would be cool.
People are thinking of Super Mario 64 DS.
Yeah, I mean,
it'd need to be implemented better than that, but...
I mean, I guess I'm just a sucker for multiple playable characters in any game. You know, even if I don't see how they would be different in a game like Luigi's Mansion.
Kiss my ass.
I can do that too, you know.
Then do it then.
You're not proving anything to anyone.
He's proving something to himself.
Time to jump up in the air.
Climb around the building.
Climb up all those stairs.
Slowly take a stroll around the way.
Ugh. I still have 700 steps left before I get to my 10,000 for the day. I'll go
If
around.
I don't have time to hurl.
Going up Shinra Tower.
Tower. Something.
Mario!
Mario's a fuck boy.
Mario, do you have my inhaler?
Oh look, it's Peach at the end of the game. What else is new?
Mario, have you tried jumping into the painting?
Luigi, do the thing.
Okay, can we go now?
What is she missing?
You're
Why is her
right.
neck so long?
You're right. Her design
it-
does look kind of weird. I think she normally has
What's
a
wrong with her?
necklace, which kind of fills in that empty space.
Yeah, because her neck looks really exposed and long.
Yeah. Alright, these things usually have a final boss at the end of them.
How does King Boo talk if his tongue is always hanging out of his mouth?
In text box.
Same way Baraka always talks in Mortal Kombat. Just does.
Which one's that?
The guy with the huge teeth.
I don't really
And
know
the-
most of the
the-
Mortal Kombat characters.
The one with blades for with arms.
Okay. Is he in one of the newer ones or just the older
Yeah.
ones?
No, he's been there since Mortal Kombat 2.
Okay. Like, I know...
You know, he has his face is like 90% teeth, but he can still speak coherent sentences. So.
I thought that one of the sexy ladies was the one with all teeth.
Oh,
Well, no, that's
Mark-
Melina,
yeah.
but that's because she's part of the same race.
Oh, okay.
Well, technically speaking.
We could have just done this from the start, you know.
Yeah, there wasn't really ever anything stopping him from just...
Doing this.
Yeah. And now I'm going to make a happy little torture painting. Let's take some Prussian blue. Yes. And we're going to paint a happy little Princess Peach.
We should do something.
Yeah.
Wow, Peach, it's been what? 2 minutes?
Hey, it's a new record. Let's see. There's something missing here.
Wario, that's it. It's missing a Wario.
Luigi, do you know where Wario is? He got out of the painting.
I think he's in Diamond City where he's making lots of cheap little microtransactions.
Oh, cool. Thanks for the hint. I'm going to go head over there. Wait a second.
While Luigi lives in a different town, I don't know where he lives.
How's it, Luigi? I don't know why you're bothered by this. This is your third time, buddy.
I like this final boss a lot better than the... actually, you
The
know
Dark-
what?
It's better than the Dark Moon one, I think.
I remember liking the Dark Moon one a lot when I first played it. I don't remember like what specifically it was. Like,
It was the
though.
chasing in the hallways, and then you kind of had the little floating platform, and you had to lead him to the shadows.
Okay,
Where a ball
I
would
think
bonk him on the head.
I liked the chasing part. I think.
But that was just little interludes between each phase, rather than...
Yeah.
things.
I mean, I do think I prefer generally fighting King Boo himself versus him having a Bowser Megazord for some reason. That was always a little weird.
Yeah.
You know, you could spit it out.
Oh, just like in Sunshine.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Do you prescribe to the Sunshine as a prequel to Luigi's Mansion theory?
I mean, if we're taking his words at face value, that Mario and him had a history.
Mario has no continuity.
Yeah. It's like, that's kind of the problem, is that there is no continuity.
Well, I mean, they do establish that this game takes place after Dark Moon.
Well, yes. We're talking just main Mario platformer games. Not like spin-offs and sequels and stuff. Like, I think the only Mario games that have any sort of... Well, Mario 1 is obviously just the first one, and that's just kind of what it is. Because of how bare bones and basic it is.
I guess there's nothing in the story of Mario 1 that says it has to be first, but...
But it's...
There's no story, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you really...
I mean, you can say that if there were any games, like, technically linked, I guess, in any sense, you can say Mario 64 and Galaxy 2. Only by virtue of that game having the Womp's Fortress level as called Throwback Galaxy.
Yeah, also...
You can't throw back to something that didn't happen.
Also, Mario World has to be, like, the second or third one to happen, because Yoshi is introduced in that.
They also do mention that, like, something like in the opening text, like, oh, Princess Peach got kidnapped again.
Yeah.
Or so it has to not be first. Shadow Clone Jutsu.
Let's make the Super Mario Historia right here.
The split
Okay.
timeline.
Honestly, making a Mario timeline is just as silly as making a Zelda timeline. Because it's increasing...
I feel there's more basis for a Zelda timeline, though, than Mario.
Well, here's the thing. I understand why people want a Zelda timeline.
Yeah.
I still think it's silly, though, because Nintendo very clearly does not care, even after they...
Neither do I. Like, I don't care either, but if the discussion is brought up, I feel there is more of a basis for Zelda than
It's more that there was one where you could make enough sense of it. Until you get to some more recent entries that just said, fuck it, the rules and lore is different now for no real reason.
Well,
because even though things were different and they may not directly connect, there was, for the most part, a relatively consistent lore once A Link to the Past happened and games after that happened. It's when you get to, oh, it's not 3 goddesses, it's the one goddess Hylia, or now all this other shit's happened that doesn't make sense why it would have happened that way. We just wanted to change things. It's like, okay.
Unless it's deliberate, like an alternate continuity.
Yeah,
I
like,
guess
if you want to make a different group, then fine, but...
I guess the thing that I was always a little bit just, not annoyed, but I always felt was kind of silly about it was they eventually did just say fine and release an official timeline, but then they didn't stick to it anyway. Because...
Yeah, that's just to sell something.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know that's just the thing, but it's like, okay, we're going to make this official Zelda timeline, and immediately, like, Breath of the Wild was, like, the next game to come out.
No, Skyward Sword was done with it, but Skyward Sword contradicts so much shit anyway.
Yeah, but, like, Breath of the Wild references stuff that happened on, like, 4 different timelines. So it's supposed to be the end of all of them at the same time, which I don't think is how time travel works. But then again, I don't think time travel is how time travel works anyway. So I'm not even gonna get to that part of the discussion. It's just I know that whenever Nintendo's making a Zelda game, they do not care what order it goes in. They just are going to make whatever story wow, that game, it really doesn't want you to be... Okay, there you go.
Wow, that looked jank as shit.
That was jank as shit.
I know that whenever Nintendo makes a Zelda game, they're going to write whatever story they want to write, and then throw in Easter eggs referencing other games at the last minute, and they won't care what they reference most of the time. I do get that they, like, in some games they do very clearly reference other ones, like Wind Waker references Ocarina of Time very specifically. But I don't think that, like, I feel like a lot of the games, they just make their own story, and it's just like, hey, what if we put a reference to Minish Cap here? Neat. Cool. Okay, let's keep going. Trees!
Spooky, spindly ones. I think this last one's on a time limit.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, well, I know so, because there's one.
Oh.
Give it away.
Why can't you just electrify all of them?
They're contractually obligated to leave a spot open.
I mean, I thought the amount of teeth being different was a subtle enough clue, but they also don't have their eyes glowing, I guess.
Oh, they have different teeth?
Yeah.
I didn't notice
The
that.
real Boo has 4 fangs. The other only have 2.
I'm gonna have to look at that. I noticed the jewel was a slightly different color.
Yeah, there's lots of tells, so.
What's the matter, King Boo? Luigi got your tongue?
I know you usually kiss on the 3rd day, but French is a bit much.
Luigi's just sitting in the corner high.
Yeah.
Wait, am I supposed to pay attention? No? Good.
Da 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 da.
Does it actually warp something this time, though?
No. Hooray, we did it.
It's got the same wavelength and properties, but it's not as powerful as the real one.
I thought like Luigi was gonna just cast it into the pit, Luigi.
He would say
No.
shit like that.
Cast it into the fire. Oh, no. I like how Luigi just does not give a shit.
I mean, isn't Luigi just an unflinching sentinel, though?
Yeah. Thanks, Polterpup.
So is this where the massive diamond gets stolen by the cat?
No, the cat's in the vacuum.
Well,
Try not to get kidnapped in 2 minutes this time.
it would be really fucked up if they all came out as one combined abomination.
You mean like the fly?
Ah, shit. Let me put it back on reverse.
Yeah, you can go back inside. I don't want to deal with your shit anymore.
Or maybe their consciousness gets swapped up, so Peach is talking with a Toad voice.
Ooh, sparkly jewel. Oh boy, they're out. So with King Boo
Stupid
gone, they're
EPA.
friendly.
So is it supposed to be like a Dark Moon situation?
I guess.
I mean, I don't really give a crap. Like, I just want to go home.
It's like, I don't care about your stupid
Oh,
hotel.
I thought EGAD was about to Mario Maker 2 available now.
Wow, Egad, thanks for volunteering us for this 7-month construction assignment.
You know what? Here's the gold. Do what you want with it. I want to go.
Listen, I was gonna use that to like pay off some loans, get a new car, maybe.
These are some nice illustrations, though.
I like
Peach
the
doesn't
art
get a
team they've got.
construction helmet.
Yeah, that was Luigi's Mansion 3. It's definitely a big step up from Dark Moon in a lot of ways, but it's just not the first one.
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing, and I know that if you like the direction that Dark Moon went, then this is probably like an amazing game. It's just, yeah, you know, old fogies like us are just gonna want the first one, and this isn't it, you know?
It's close, but not quite there.
Yeah, and I will say, I do think that it is good at being its own game. Like, Luigi's Mansion 2 wasn't the first game, it was its own thing. But it also had problems at being its own thing. This is does a good job at doing what it wants to do. I just would rather it did something else.
Yeah, from what I've seen, this is a better Dark Moon.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, they could keep functionally a lot of this in a 4. What they would need to do is, one, just cut all the fats. No fetch quests with the kitty or the polter
Yeah,
pup and
because
stuff.
this is this game is going into the same issue that I turned out from Dark Moon, is that they're both for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I know like the first game is like fucking on your first playthrough on a good pace, like what 5-6 hours long.
It's a
About
Resident
that.
Evil game, really. Like that.
Yeah.
That
A
basically.
little shorter, but like it's not a very long game at all. But
No.
I don't care, like at all.
Yeah, it's like the other thing is just I know it's Nintendo. They want to be super kid friendly and cute and all that. It's like, but it's a game about ghosts in a spooky location. You know, you could try to be a bit more scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, like the first Luigi's Mansion was released on a very experimental phase of Nintendo.
Yeah, and some say, and a lot of us who were around that time say it's when they did some of their best work.
Yeah,
It's just unfortunate because, like, we have that connection to it because that's when we were growing up with Nintendo and stuff like that. But the sales figures didn't reflect that because, you know, the GameCube wasn't their best-selling console. You know, neither was the N64, sadly.
Well, the N64's problems were more hardware related than.
You could say the same thing about the GameCube, too,
Well,
to an extent.
less to an extent the GameCube. It's more that their competition was the PlayStation 2.
Yeah. But, I mean, I can understand how it's a hard sell to make something more like the GameCube when the GameCube didn't do great sales-wise, which I'm sure in a stock holder's room, that's the only thing that matters.
I mean, then they keep giving stuff to Tanabe.
Okay, I'm not gonna... In any case...
Hi, Nate Bildorf. That's
Nate
C still getting work.
Yeah. In any case, I'm excited to see what Next Level Games' next game is, because I really do think that they're a super talented developer. That
They're definitely on Nintendo's good side now, which is good, nice to see.
they need to be given a bigger project, I think, is the thing. Because Luigi's Mansion, Punch-Out, Federation
Strikers.
Force... Yeah, they're all... You know, they're great games for what they... Maybe not... Maybe Federation... No, Federation Force was a good
the
game.
Federation Force is a fine game.
Yeah,
It is-
I'm gonna stick
Yeah.
by that one. But you know, they've made pretty good games. It's just they've never been given like a big title. I think that they should be given something a little more major, and I want to see how they pull it off.
Or let them do something they want to make.
I would trust them with an original IP at this point. Like they clearly would be able to give it a unique art identity, and they clearly have a lot of ideas. So yeah, go for it.
Yeah, this was a nice surprise, and I'm glad it came out. So
Yeah.
I don't need another Luigi's Mansion for another system or two, honestly.
Yeah, I think I'd be good. But, you know, 6-7 years down the line, it'll be nice if we get a new one.
Yeah, as we said before, you don't need to do one of these every couple of years.
Wait, why
Also-
does it get an EGAD face and hat when he didn't do shit?
He's egomaniacal.
Oh, the final cutscene is slightly different depending on what rank you got. Okay.
Yeah. Play the Hotel Mario music in reverse. Now to never hopefully talk to any of you ever again.
Wait, we have to go back. We left one of the toads behind.
What in the what?
The
What about
toads?
Grandpa?
What about him?
We left one behind.
There's like a million back at home we can replace him with.
What about his brother who's dying of
They're,
chemo?
they're virtually indistinguishable from each other.
It's like, I don't want to sound that way, but they all kind of look the same.
That's racist, Luigi.
Look, they
Is it-
stopped trying to be unique after like our trip to the Waffle Kingdom like 17 years ago. I don't know what was up with that.